Thanks, Manoj. Thanks for using Babblebots for your intern hiring. I'd love for you to share, what was your experience in terms of how long it takes the whole thing, and that maybe what was the efficiency that you saw by using RAI agents for hiring?
Yeah, thanks, Roli, for asking this. And obviously, it was great experience. I tell you, we received close to 300 resumes, and I was really overwhelmed with the kind of response we got. And frankly, we were really feeling, that, okay, how are we going to handle this? So the first step we did, that we sort of shortlisted these resumes with the help of Babblebots, and we sort of brought it down to some around 100 odd resumes, less than 100. And then we got into these two-step process where the AI agent, and this worked so remarkably well. I mean, it was amazing. It could basically follow all the questions, could understand the customer users, the interviews responses and all those things. And from around 100 odd people, we could brought the people down to 40. And then sort of it went into a coding round, which basically where we could filter out to around, brought it down to around 10 students. And obviously, these 10 students we interviewed personally. This was so amazing. I can't imagine how we would have done it without Babblebot, because bringing down all the way from 300 odd resumes to 10, and then finally finding the candidate that we were looking for, this was amazing. And I don't think we will be able to manage it without your amazing platform. So thanks for all the all the support. And we could do it in less than 24 hours, the entire exercise, essentially.
Okay.
Overall, if we look into the initial filtering thing also, it probably 36 hours, essentially. But the main loop basically got finished. There was only one person on campus. Rest of us were basically off campus. Just imagine if same thing would we have to do in big tech days, it would have taken us, probably 10 people. But with your platform, we could just manage it with hardly 2 or 3 people. Yes.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, I wanted to ask that, but I think you covered it around before and after scenarios. I think people are very keen to hear that. Then any feedback from the candidates?
No, candidates actually really enjoyed conversation. Essentially, and they were pleasantly surprised. We are an AI first startup, and in fact, obviously, it sort of helped us brand as, AI as well, because the AI agent, it was a very good experience for them. So the candidates who we selected, we were talking later on, and we were just asking them, okay, how did they find the experience talking to AI agent and all those things? And they sort of enjoyed. And I was going through the transcript, particularly the shortlisted candidates, and how did they perform in AI very closely, because that was very important input for us. And I could see that the flow, the rhythm was nowhere inferior to, a human interviewee, for example. And in fact, the AI agent would ask relevant follow-up questions. For example, if you're asking about decision trees, it will ask about deeper questions. It's not like, okay, something which is fed to the model. It will basically follow up with deeper questions about decision tree. And I saw candidates saying that, no, I don't know about this part because I just know about, say, decision tree or those kind of stuff. I mean, so it's going as if someone is digging deep into that, it's like a human. Okay. So it very well sort of worked from that perspective. Yeah, that overall went pretty good.
Okay, cool. And one more thing, I think that I think a lot of people are interested in general understanding the quality of the assessment. So, for example, if we take this decision tree example, did you feel that the system was able to rate somebody who was able to go deeper in decision tree was rated better than somebody who very quickly?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is definitely a gradient here. I mean, obviously the students who didn't do well were basically rated lower, and who did well were rated higher. My only thing was that the scale of the gradient could be increased a bit more, essentially. So basically, I could clearly see that anyone which is less than 20 was basically he did not do well. Anything who's basically, say, above 30, he has done sort of good. But I would say that between 30 and 40, the gap was sort of more than probably what the scale would suggest. So
okay. So 40% was just fundamentally better than a 30%. But
yes, exactly. But I mean, they were in the right direction. But I would say just scale it up further so that the discriminating factor becomes a little more pronounced. But
Okay.
otherwise, yeah, the direction wise, it was in the right direction.
Directionally, it was good. Okay, great. Very cool. Okay. And if you had to like compare a before and after another scenario that let's say you spoke to 10 people in this case, right? I think
Right.
finally you guys
Yes.
spoke to like 10 and selected one, right? That
Yes.
was the thing.
Yes.
What would you have from your experience? Just give us an idea of like how many people would you have spoken otherwise to get to probably the same
That is
outcome?
hard to speculate, but all I can say is these 10 people were really awesome, effectively. So I think the system was able to filter out pretty good candidates, because the guy who was selected, he had a awesome academic record, and ultimately, if we would have gone through the whole process manually, we would have probably, if we ended up with him, we would be very happy. So then that shortlist, in fact, we were very confused. And there was a point, even though we wanted to just roll out one offer, we wanted to roll out two offers actually, because there were two candidates who were very, very good and very, very close to each other. So that way, we were happy with the list, essentially. It's hard to speculate that how many we would have. I mean, I think given that our strength, we would have probably spoken to around 10, 15 people, but who knows what subset of the people we would have spoken. We are very happy with these 10.
With these two people. Yeah, if you're not using the other guy, maybe we'll consider.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think we can all use interns.
No, I think obviously I can give you the name, and you can definitely reach out to him. I mean, if that. So I mean, there are actually two guys, frankly, besides the one that we did. Both of them are awesome, essentially. So if you have a role, I would be happy to pass their names to you.
And have they agreed to work from the office? Like, is that your?
Yeah, that we clearly. So in fact, that was one of the questions which was fed into your system.
Okay.
Where the first thing the AI agent will ask that the position is in Bangalore. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
So if they will say yes to both of them, then system. I mean, that's how 𝗚𝗶𝗞𝗔 sort of viewed it. 𝗚𝗶𝗞𝗔 asked me that how much you are offering. I said that is it important? And then so he said we will integrate it in your AI, in our AI agent. So I said that.
Good, yeah, this is a good option. I mean, if they've gone through all this, and I'm almost thinking, Manoj, there should be a way in the system for people who just didn't make it.
Yes.
Why should a company go through the same thing again? Like, I don't think it is in anybody's interest.
Right. For example, now, see, certain things which are recorded in your system, right?
Yeah.
So up to this final 10 list, they're recorded. Obviously, after that, when we spoke to these guys, that part is not there.
Yeah.
But at least this list of 10 candidates, is there someone else who's visiting that campus, or somewhere you can create this, that these are the top candidates from this college. Somehow they should get some leverage of that performance.
I feel like that too. I think that is something that technology can do, which is hard to do otherwise, because interviews is always used to be in person. See, if you could have gotten this person without going through this whole thing, you would have been pretty happy about it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So, like I'm doing the same right now. Although, like,
Exactly. Because, see, even if you don't find him suitable, right? So you have not invested so much of your resources. You spoke to one guy, you didn't find him good enough. You said that, okay, Manoj, it's not fitting in our, profile. So that's okay, but overall it was fine. So just think about investing so much of, like, if I tell you, we ended up spending like around 1.5 of whole of our 1.5 day in this process, and it just worked. I just tell you, when we used to visit as a part of Big Tech in, say, all of these IITs, there would be at least 10 to 15 of us who would go to us, and all travel, lodging, etc., bunch of things. And before that, already pre-screening has been done by someone else, right? So we get
it. You were already getting a vetted pipeline.
We are getting tab हमें 10-12 लोग लगते थे. And with your platform, I mean, just imagine there was only one guy on campus. 4 of us were here. So we could just manage it with just
with the efficiency is very, very good.
I think हो ही नहीं पता. मतलब मुझे नहीं लगता कि मैं तो I was like, frankly speaking, I remembered about you. इसके पहले मैं बहुत ही पैनिक मोड में चला गया था. मैंने कहा यार कैसे करेंगे. तो मैंने कहा कि ये बोला how it would happen and all that kind of stuff. और एक वो ऑनलाइन कोडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म था जो काफी लीड कोड या पता नहीं ऐसे कुछ था. तो वो लोग ऑफर करते हैं वो $449 का कुछ या $349 का, ऐसे कुछ नंबर था मतलब। तो आप बोलोगे कि चलो यार 349 भी दे देते हैं, लेकिन आप ये सोचिए कि जस्ट मतलब उनका क्या नंबर ऑफ इंटरव्यूज, वो लोग कुछ 200 इंटरव्यूज दे रहे थे उसमें, हमें तो चाहिए ही नहीं थे पहली बात तो हमारे लिए ऐसा था कि हम बोल सकें कि यार
I
हमें
think that you were very clear that you just didn't want everybody to go through like that exercise.
एग्जैक्टली। और मतलब बट इट वाज जस्ट अ कोडिंग राउंड, राइट? उनका जो पहला वाला जो वेटिंग था, जो हमने एआई राउंड किया है, वो तो था ही नहीं मतलब ऑब्वियसली। फिर भी वी वुड बी प्रीटी मच इन दैट सेम डिलेमा के कैसे इनको सेकंड राउंड कैसे करें, और हम लोग सोचे कि हम लोग 4-5 लोग कैसे करते, बोले 40-50 लोगों का इंटरव्यू।
Correct.
एंड आई थिंक इट्स अ वेरी यूनिक प्रोडक्ट, आई डोंट थिंक देयर इज एनीवन in the market which is handling exactly the same product scenario.
Yeah.
Particularly जो small companies हैं like us or slightly bigger than us, उनके लिए तो ये बहुत बहुत हेल्पफुल रहेगा।
Yeah.
फाइनल मेरा यही है कि आप इसको अगर डॉलर से कर लें, जैसे मैं अगर देखूं, अगर हम ये खुद करते तो हम कम से कम 5 लोग ट्रैवल करते कैंपस में, 2 दिन शायद लग जाते हैं हमें whatever। तो कॉस्ट देखिए हमारा, ऑपरेशंस कॉस्ट हमारा कितना मतलब सेव हुआ है इसमें। और इसको आप अगर कर सकें कि मतलब ऑन एन एवरेज हमने जब इंटरव्यूज किए तो दिस इज हाउ मच इट कॉस्ट विद आवर प्लेटफॉर्म, दिस इज हाउ इट वुड कॉस्ट एसेंशियली। और मतलब एक तो खैर ऑब्वियसली क्वालिटी है कि वी एंड बट यू कैन आल्सो सेल द efficiency and costing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you're saying 4 to 5 of you would have had to go to campus to so basically 2 days. So
कैसे वो एक
time
बच्चे
and the travel costs and basically the whole operational cost of doing that.
एग्जैक्टली क्योंकि आप सोचिए ना कि कैसे मतलब एक बंदा तो वहां पे बैठ के नहीं कर सकता, रिमोट इंटरव्यूज इतने करेंगे वो अकेला ओवरवेलम हो जाएगा, वो बोलेगा काम मेरे को कहाँ मतलब भेज दिया इसमें पूरे अकेले संभालने के लिए।
Correct.
और
That is true. That's actually a great point. I think this was the thing that becomes sometimes very difficult to put on ROI. How do you put a value on the comfort and the removal of the stress? I think
Yes.
with our use case, we've struggled with that quite a bit because we do say that this makes a life easy, but how do you put a number on that? You can feel.
ये वाला प्रॉब्लम तो हम भी स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं रॉली, फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग, क्योंकि हम लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ठीक है वी आर बिल्डिंग द वर्ल्ड स्मार्टेस्ट डिसीजन ओरिएंटेड एजेंटिक एआई एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ। अब एक साइड तो ये है कि आपको उस तरह के डिसीजन लेने के लिए जिस तरह के सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्ट चाहिए, तो आपको अगर 4 लोग चाहिए तो आपका एक बंदे से काम हो जाएगा, समझे? तो वहां पे तो कॉस्टिंग आ जाती है, चलिए। लेकिन वो क्वालिटी ऑफ डिसीजन से आपको आपके बिजनेस को कितना इम्पैक्ट हुआ है को क्वांटिफाई करना इज ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल। कि हम कैसे करेंगे कि यार हमारे एआई की वजह से जो आपको इनसाइट्स मिले उसका आपने मतलब कितना उसको क्वांटिफाई करेंगे। तो
Actually, that's even worse than our case.
तो आई थिंक वही ये जो ये इंटेंजिबल आरओआई है, इसको क्वांटिफाई करना इज वेरी वेरी चैलेंजिंग, बट स्टिल कुछ नंबर मतलब दिस इज वन थिंग
डाल सकते हैं।
इसको जैसे ग्लीन का एग्जांपल मैं टिपिकली यूज करता हूँ कि ग्लीन दे वुड से
Have you used that product? ग्लीन आपने देखा है?
ग्लीन हाँ मैंने यूज किया, उबर में आई यूज ग्लीन।
Okay. Oh,
हाँ तो ग्लीन का पिच ये रहता था कि ऑन एन एवरेज योर इंजीनियर्स आर स्पेंडिंग 2 hours ऑफ योर टाइम सर्चिंग फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन विच दे नीड फॉर देयर वर्क।
ठीक है।
तो अगर उनका 8 घंटे का दिन है तो 2 घंटे उनके इसमें जा रहे हैं, which is basically effectively you're losing 25% of your entire salary to this thing. और अगर हम इसको 1/10 कर देते हैं तो just imagine what is the ROI that you're getting.
Correct.
तो अब वो बंदा बोलेगा 1/10 भी नहीं कर रहे हैं, हाफ भी कर रहे हैं, the ROI is clearly बहुत है। तो ग्लीन को वहां पे कन्विंस नहीं करना, वो मतलब ये तो फिर मान ही लेगा कि चलो यार हाफ तो कर ही दोगे तुम लोग वगैरह। तो that is I like that kind of pitch for like from Glean. तो वो लोग इस तरह से अपने वैल्यू प्रोवाइड।
So I think Glean took the task approach that your engineers are taking X amount of time to do this task.
Right.
And I'm making that one task efficient. And because they're working with engineers, which is the most expensive resource, even like 5% saving or 10% saving on their cost is very substantial.
Yes, exactly. तो I think वो इस तरह से कुछ अब क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली ग्लीन को वो बोलेगा ठीक है यार मेरे को क्या ही फर्क पड़ रहा है, बेटर सर्च हो जाएगा, थोड़ा सा इसका ROI कैसे पता लगाओगे आप एंड ऑल दैट स्टफ. So they somehow came up with this pitch, one line pitch, which sort of convinced. तो मेरे ख्याल से तो मैं इसको ढूंढता रहता हूँ कि हम लोग एक वन लाइन पिच, मतलब अब तो खैर शायद I sort of can give a one line pitch essentially, लेकिन this is something which probably would be very important to quantify the ROI essentially. और obviously जो थोड़े से मिड साइज कंपनीज हैं वो तो आपके प्रोडक्ट को यूज करने में काफी इंटरेस्टेड.
उसमें तो उनको आउटकम जल्दी दिखता है ना. जैसे आपको भी ना, अगर मैं मनोज बता रही थी कि आपको सेटअप करना है ना पूरा,
right,
you would have been like, yaar छोड़ो, like, you know, the learning curve is too much for a lot of these things. So we really started to focus a lot more on the outcome, and the outcome that you got and you appreciated is actually the only outcome that we talk about. Like, which was that you should have had conversations with 10 very good people. We didn't say that usme se, it's quite possible usme bhi sabko pasand nahi aata and you would have been less happy then. But I think what we are guaranteeing is that you won't be talking to like completely useless people at that point of time, because between that curation and the end, stuff can still fall apart in various places. Right? This is completely out of the control.
How would you, obviously you cannot guarantee कि जो आप लोगों को फाइनल हम बैठ करके देंगे वो पूल में के उस पूल के बेस्ट कैंडिडेट्स होंगे, वो आप गारंटी तो नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन उसमें आप बेस्ट एफर्ट ही दे सकते हो कि ये 80% उसमें से अच्छे होंगे या समथिंग लाइक दैट. लेकिन वो कोई भी गारंटी नहीं कर सकते रॉली. मतलब अगर ये कोई लोग अपना भी प्रोसेस चलाते हैं देन दे कैन नॉट गारंटी, राइट. मतलब मैंने बहुत बार कैंपस में गलत डिसीजंस होते देखे हैं, मतलब कैंडिडेट्स लेफ्ट आउट एंड सम इफ इट काफी ज्यादा बेटर है आई वुड से, क्योंकि यहाँ पे कोई पर्सनल बायस नहीं आएगा. That could be one of the good point that you can sort of add.
We have seen this so many times, Manoj, and customers have actually given us data around it, that how we have been able to bubble up the bias that was already in their system.
Okay.
In fact, one of the customers did this A/B study. They said half the candidates will be interviewed by humans and half will be interviewed by AI. और फिर देखते हैं कि एंड ऑफिस में क्या निकलता है, because this is very early. This was about 2 years back, just when we had launched.
Okay.
So everybody is of course nervous. The candidates will not talking to AI and all that stuff was happening. Right. But what they found, this was actually one of the case studies I shared on Sunday, was that what they found is that there were more women in the AI queue that were rated highly. And there were almost no women in the other women queue. So then they started thinking, yeah, like it's a random queue, right? Like let's say pick up, like whatever, just random. They did not really have a way to distribute them.
आपकी जो AB study थी वो balance थी in the sense that they were not. Okay.
Yeah. So then they, of course, like, you know, the difference was so much that it was hard to ignore. So then they started to ask, kya hua? You know what happened?
Okay.
At the CV level, the HR would reject all women.
Oh.
So they never made it to the interview stage. So when the hiring manager was never meeting a woman, because these women were never shortlisted. And the reason... Yes. मैं बताती हूँ आपको लेकिन क्यों कर रहे थे वो. They're not coming from a bad place. But this was a job in a plant, in a manufacturing plant. And they did not have a toilet for women on the manufacturing plant.
Okay.
So instead of asking the management that why don't we have a restroom because we are losing out on good candidates because of this, they just said that why don't we
just remove these people from the pipeline itself, right?
So, and of course the management is gobsmacked. They are like, yeah, like you should have just said, because of course on all other metrics it looks good if you are encouraging more women to do these plant jobs, they're relatively safe jobs, right? And the talent pool increases. Suddenly your talent pool is twice just by having one toilet.
Yes, exactly.
But this would have never come up because it's not like they're doing a mass hiring of this position. So in the whole year you're doing like maybe 5-7 hiring of that kind, right? So as a hiring manager you may not be noticing कि अरे कोई बंदी नहीं आई.
Right.
I mean, it's not so hard.
Quite possible कि 5 के 5 लोग.
That you're not paying attention to, you know, maybe like people are not interested to apply or something. But that wasn't the case at all. Women were wanting to apply, and they were getting this, and this only came because of AI.
Exactly. तो ये जो bias है, human bias है, essentially. तो ये in either direction, चाहे वो वुमन है चाहे वो एंटी वुमन है, वो काफी हद तक सॉर्ट आउट हो जाती है. या ऑब्वियसली और भी बहुत सारे तरह के बायस होते हैं सिस्टम में, एटलीस्ट वहां से वो चीजें बिल्कुल बेसिकली क्लीन के और और देन यू हैव ए गुड पूल ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स अल्टीमेटली. तो ये काफी आई थिंक आपका प्रोडक्ट तो खैर काफी ज्यादा मतलब आई वुड से कि अच्छा है और सॉर्टेड है. थोड़ा सा उसकी बस सब्जेक्ट मैटर एक्सपर्टीज को आप मतलब
इम्प्रूव करना चाहिए. हाँ.
और थोड़ा स्केल वाला मैंने पॉइंट बोला, वो ये सारी छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं रॉली. मतलब ये कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है कि जो आप इसमें हैंडल नहीं हो सकती है. तो बेसिकली जब आप नॉर्मली जो कोडिंग राउंड्स होते हैं ना, इसके दो पार्ट्स होते हैं. आपने प्रॉब्लम देखा, द फर्स्ट राउंड इज योर एब्स्ट्रैक्ट थिंकिंग प्रोसेस, कि आप उस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर पा रहे हो. सेकंड इज टू ट्रांसलेट अ सॉल्यूशन from the abstract thinking into a working language which computer can understand, which we call programming language. कि सेकंड वाला जो पार्ट है ये बहुत ही स्किल बेस्ड पार्ट है. दिस कैन बी लर्न.
ठीक है.
फर्स्ट पार्ट इज योर पर्सनल पार्ट. जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट थिंकिंग है ना, वो आपका पर्सनल है कि दैट इज इंट्रिंसिक टू यू, वो ह्यूमन पार्ट है. इफ यू आर गुड इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट, सेकंड पार्ट आई डोंट केयर अबाउट. प्रॉब्लम विद ऑलमोस्ट 90% of the interviewers there,
they focus on the second part.
एग्जैक्टली कि उसके कितने टेस्ट केस पास हुए. उसका थिंकिंग प्रोसेस तो देखो ना, उसको उसका एफिशिएंसी देखो. आप अभी सोचिए ना कि कोई सॉर्टिंग एल्गोरिथम ऑर्डर n स्क्वायर में किया है किसी ने, और किसी ने ऑर्डर n log n में किया है. आप बोल रहे हैं हाँ सॉर्टिंग तो हो रही है, आई डोंट केयर.
बट यू हैव टू केयर.
यू हैव टू केयर, राइट. अगर आप वो ही समझ पा रहे हो कि स्केल को कैसे हैंडल कर रहा है ये, तो बेकार है. लेकिन आपको खुद ही नहीं पता, अधिकतर इंटरव्यूअर्स को खुद ही नहीं पता कि व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट टू फोकस ऑन.
That is true. That is true. That actually a lot of our customers say that by using this effectively, they are bridging that gap which has always been there between HR and the first round of functional interview.
Right.
कुछ तो पता है ना किसी को, before you say that this is a decent candidate, किसी को कुछ तो पता है. आप, it's not even tech, financing, supply chain. You take any functional skill, which is a little bit skill based, right? HR will not have any way to gauge that quickly. But AI can do that.
Exactly. तो I think वो ये वाले जो एस्पेक्ट्स हैं आपके, ये काफी मतलब आई थिंक थ्रू योर प्लेटफॉर्म ये काफी स्ट्रीमलाइन हो सकता है. वो बायस रिमूव हो सकती है. फोकस थोड़ा सा उसको वो भी कर सकते हैं कि फाइन ट्यून कर सकते हैं अकॉर्डिंग टू कस्टमर रिक्वायरमेंट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल को इस तरह के कैंडिडेट चाहिए, मेरे को इस तरह की प्रोफाइल चाहिए. तो ओवर द सेम 100 प्रोफाइल्स, कस्टमर के लिए there are different top 5, customer के लिए there are different top 5. So I think that kind of personalization will go long.
That is possible. Yeah. Very cool. Wow. Always so fun to chat with you, Manoj. Thank you. I'm learning, man. Yeah.
Always same here, Roli, and thanks. I also enjoy talking with you a lot. I mean, हमारा time, I think आधा घंटे का time रखा था हमने, already 50 minutes.
चलो, thank you so much. Okay, bye.